critic, Richard C. Hoagland. Hoagland said he'd meet with us, but we had to meet on his turf, the one place on Earth that most closely resembled Mars. So, Richard, what would explain these structures on Mars?
Well, not only could there be extraordinary ancient ruins, but we could be launching human missions to Mars.
Coming up, a thriving civilization on the red planet? Bombshell revelations from a Mars expert.
What you see here, I believe, is a varied transportation system.
Then, a NASA astronaut reveals shocking information about a secret Mars program.
I was specifically appointed to go to Mars, but history got rewritten.
We just lost the connection.
And later, an eyewitness confirms the extraordinary capabilities of the triangular spacecraft.
This craft can reach Mars in 33 hours.
Kerry Cassidy and I have worked for years to disclose information the government is hiding about extraterrestrial contact. Now, we've gotten our hands on NASA photos showing possible evidence of engineered structures on Mars. To unravel the significance of these photos, we've come to the Arizona desert to meet with space science expert Richard Hoagland.
This is probably the closest analog to Mars you're going to find anywhere on Earth. This thing was formed, we think, about 50,000 years ago by an object coming in through this incredible Arizona sky, buried itself in the ground 1,000 feet down.
Hoagland is a former NASA consultant who claims NASA is covering up what it knows about life on Mars. He's uncovered what he believes to be photographic evidence of ancient ruins on Mars, anomalous structures, including a photo that appears to show a giant face on the surface of the planet.
I've been looking at photographs taken by NASA, by the Soviets, for almost 30 years.
If anyone could tell us what we're looking at, it would be him. So, Richard, what would explain these structures on Mars?
If you actually look at this, it looks like it's ruins being eroded out of these sand dunes. What you see here, I believe, is a varied transportation system.
Okay, you know this because you're in touch with people from inside NASA?
Of course. There are people leaking like crazy. There were people that were leaking in the beginning of the Apollo program. And we found little clues buried in that database which now confirm what we have discovered. You cannot ignore the actual science. I mean, look here. This is a Mariner 9 picture.
Hoagland had brought some intriguing NASA photos of his own.
This is the infamous face on Mars that was photographed by Viking in 1976. But what the officials say is that it's all tricks of light and shadow. Nothing there. But it's not a trick of light and shadow. And we know that now because we have data after data after data with multiple angles, multiple lighting. It's not a trick. There's no doubt in my mind it's a statue. But because most people are authority-driven, they take the voice of their experts over their own eyes.
So your watchword is take a look for yourself. That's what you want to tell me. Take a look for yourself.
What else do you have there?
These are the pyramids located just to the west. This face on Mars. You can see there's this incredible precise geometry. There's no doubt this was a huge, mile-wide, 5-sided pyramid. These guys, who I think were our ancestors, built big.
Hoagland had an even more shocking story to tell. He said that back when he was a network television science consultant, he was inside a NASA control room when the first Mars space probe touched down.
When Viking landed in 1976, I'm standing there looking at a monitor with Carl Sagan. Carl was on my left, some NBC guys are on my right, and we're looking at this first color image come in, downlink, live from Mars, and it looks like Arizona.
I saw some of the pictures and it's a clear resolution.
Well, Mr. President, right now all we're seeing is a landscape with maybe blue sky in the distance.
Then, a few hours later, the head guys sent technicians around to tweak the red knobs on all the monitors in the entire lab. Certain individuals have the political power to keep all of us in the dark about our heritage, They started in 1976 by changing the color of Mars so it would never really look like what it is, which is apparently a lot like Arizona.
An error was made. The Martian sky, the scientists now say, is pinkish.
This is the first color picture of the Viking 2 landing site, proving that this area of Mars is red, just as the Viking 1 site was.
So this corresponds to the real Mars. Look at the sky. It's not pink, it's baby blue.
So NASA had gone to great lengths to hide the fact that Mars' atmosphere is similar to our own, able to support life.
If someone's painting the sky,
They all had to be in on it.
And that would point to an even bigger Mars cover-up.
Is it possible they've already been there but haven't told us?
That's part of what we call the secret space program.
What's your personal view about that?
A, it exists. B, they know a hell of a lot more than we know through NASA. And C, there's cover-up after cover-up after cover-up, not only in the NASA area, but in every area.
Hoagland had shown us evidence of life on Mars and of NASA's attempts to suppress it.
He's been tracking this for how, 37 years?
he has watched the cover-up step by step with his own eyes. That's what's amazing.
He was there in the control center when the original images, but he was there, he saw the color of the sky, and then they changed them a couple of hours
That's
later.
amazing.
But did this cover-up extend to secretly sending men to Mars? We needed another look at some recent history.
What we did have back in the 60s were a manned mission to Mars being planned and then scrapped, right?
Yep.
We began where the public record leaves off, a 1967 NASA program to send men to Mars. Astronaut Brian O'Leary was selected to be on the first flight, but when the program was abruptly cancelled the following year, he hung up his spacesuit and quit. We found O'Leary had moved to South America. He seemed nervous about talking, but we managed to persuade him to speak with us via Skype.
Hi, Brian.
We wanted to find out if Mars was the reason he'd left his country behind.
It was in '67, was it, that you joined up with NASA for their Mars mission program?
Yes, I was specifically appointed to go to Mars, and the mission was to have taken place in the 1980s. But history got rewritten in 1968. The Johnson Space Center announced that the Mars missions would be canceled.
But your interest in Mars has continued.
Oh, absolutely. The fact is there may have been a civilization there once that was, basically was wiped out. NASA was covering up quite a bit. In the past, Mars was certainly more Earth-like. There was liquid water there. We see the erosional features, dried up riverbeds, lakes. We may be looking at our own future by looking at Mars.
Is there a reason why you're in Ecuador that might be linked to the cover-up?
Yes, there are a number of reasons. I have had a history of being threatened, and many of the people who did try to do me in are still around. Prudence suggests that we just move here.
Do you think that the secrecy extends to an alternative space program, that we have been to Mars but we're not being told about it?
Well, reports suggest the answer to that might be yes. There are all kinds of secrets that are being held from us, such as
Brian? We just lost the connection.
Coming up, Bill and Carrie learn about a secret program to acquire alien technology.
Apparently they had an original seat from a UFO.
Then, jump rooms to Mars. The Mars Traveler shows where he took off.
The United States government has had operational teleportation capability since 1967.
And later, the team seeks answers in the remote desert and ends up in a dangerous situation.
Get the cameras out of here now.
Former astronaut Brian O'Leary may have been about to confirm that the Mars program had continued in secret as a black shadow operation.
there are all kinds of secrets that are being held from us, such as I